Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to another episode of At Home with Mark. Today is season 8, episode 6. And I feel like Nico and I have been talking about doing this for a while, but this is Nico from Sabbadius. We're
Hi,
gonna
everybody.
we're gonna talk all about his products and what he does in the guitar industry and everything. But Nico, dude, thanks for making the time. And I know English is not your first language. You're gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Okay,
You're gonna have a good
hopefully.
time. But thanks for doing this, man. I know it's a little later there than it is here, just by a couple hours. So I appreciate it.
Yes, now here is 8 p.m.
Yeah. So we'll keep you. Are you an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy?
Um, I go to sleep at 10 p.m. most of the time
Mm-hmm.
and wake up every morning at 6 a.m.
That's my schedule too, man.
Uh,
Spot
yes,
on.
yeah,
Spot
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Hey, I wanted to ask you. So I always ask everybody this, Nico. What is your earliest musical memory? Like the thing that kind of resonates with you that's like, oh, that's the moment I realized music hit me in a different way.
Well, it was when I was nine years old. Um, I start listening to Guns N' Roses Slash, and I say, "Oh my God, I want to play guitar."
Yeah.
But I was 9 years old, and I'm not coming from a musician's family, so nobody want to buy me a guitar. So I start. Well, I start playing guitar when I was 14.
Oh, okay. So there was a big gap.
Yeah, yes. And
Okay.
my first guitar was a Fender Squire that someone stole, and I had that guitar. I had it for 2 months only,
Man.
and then I have to get some money again to buy another guitar. But first, I decide to buy pedals. So
Really?
yeah, I started buying pedals, and I didn't have a guitar. So my friends, um, how do you say when he gives you his instrument?
Loaned you an
Yes,
instrument? Yeah.
yes, a guitar, and I play his guitar with my pedals, and I don't have any amp neither. So I buy pedals all the time, and my friends said, "Why don't you buy a guitar, man?"
Right?
So well,
Was that guitar a Strat too?
yes, a Strat. Yes,
Okay.
I always had a Strat. My first guitar that it was not my first because never worked was a guitar made in Argentina that the brand is called Fime.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a Jazzmaster
Oh,
replica,
okay.
and you can't take any sound of that guitar. Today, Fime is a nice brand, but in back in the 90s wasn't. So
Right.
in the
Okay.
80s, 90s, yeah,
Let me ask you a question.
yeah,
Do you, because here's the thing. I want to love Jazz Masters. Like, I think they're cool guitars, but every time I pick one up, it feels so awkward. It doesn't fit me. It's kind of like what we were talking about before the show started. Like, are you the same way with Jazz Masters and Jaguars? Like all set?
yes,
Okay.
yes. I'm a Strat man. All my guitars are Strat, except for one that is a 335. Um, but I don't use it anymore. It's there.
What's your
So
number one? Like, what's your number one Strat
my
that you
number
like?
one today is all parts guitar that my friend
Oh, cool.
Millstap, Stanley Millstap, helping me to build this guitar. So
Nice.
I buy the neck, the body, the pickups, the pick wire, all is a parts guitar, and it's left guitar. It's not for right,
Right.
like Jim, you know.
Yeah, man. I know you're a big Jimmy guy. We'll get into that for sure.
Okay, cool.
So that Olympic white. So you're with that guitar. Are you trying to like recreate like Jimmy's guitar?
Well, I am not a good guitar player. I'm not a good guitar player. Also, I don't have time since I start the funky vibe pedal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to practice guitar. I have two kids. I have family, my wife. All I work alone, so all the time I put it here in the lab and in all the pedals. So when I have time to play guitar, is only when I test all the pedals. Okay,
Okay, that's fair.
so but well, I don't know what you want to know.
Well, first of all, tell everybody where you're located, just so they're aware.
Well, I'm in Córdoba, Argentina. I'm like 6 hours from Buenos Aires. It's the second province of Argentina with more people
Mm-hmm.
after Buenos Aires. Um, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, so let's jump back a little bit. So, okay, you're buying a bunch of pedals as a kid. You don't have a guitar. What was the draw? Like, why were you like really interested in electronics and like were you curious about how things worked at the time, even at that young age?
Yes, yes. I was interested in how a pedal can modify the sound of the guitar. My step grandfather um, has a lot of knowledge about making tube amps or tube radios. So he teach me some basics of circuit and electronics. Well, I bought a fast pedal in that time. Internet,
Yeah, there was nothing.
nothing,
Yeah.
nothing.
Mhm.
So I opened the fast. I saw the interior, and I said, "Oh man, it's few a few components only." So
Yeah.
I asked my grandfather if he can teach me how to make a pedal like this, and well, we did it, and it was sounded awful.
Nico, how old were you at that time?
Oh, I was uh, 19,
Oh, okay. Okay.
19. Yeah,
So you're a young adult at that point.
yeah, yes. After that, I learned how to make other pedals like Tube Screamer, and that sounds really good. And I changed some components and make it about how I would like to have a Tube Screamer pedal sounding. So that pedal today is called the El Toro Argentino.
Mm,
I still making it.
nice.
So well, from my first pedal I made was the fast pedal, the fast phase, then the TS 808. Well, then you are not going to believe me, but it was the funky vibe.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my go-to, make that pedal to sound good, but I didn't. Uh,
That's crazy because I feel like, I mean, as a lay person, I just play these things. I don't really understand them like you guys do, but um it seems like that is a very complicated circuit to get right.
yes, yes, it's not only the components; it's you need the right components,
Mhm.
because it's not because you have a lamp bulb. You're going to, oh yeah, I have a lamp bulb and I have photo cells here. Okay, let's make a Univibe. It's not like that. You have to test. I tested, I don't know, tons of photo cells and lamp bulbs, and to get what today is the funky vibe. I
Man.
test it, and I invest a lot of money to make them what today is the funky vibe. When I make the when I made the funky vibe for the first time was in 2007, and
Okay.
the sound of that funky vibe was nothing to do with the now with the one that I make today. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, "Hey, Nico, I found a funky vibe from 2008." Okay, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Leave it
That's
there.
funny.
Leave it there. So most of the people like it, but it's not the sound of the Univibe. That
Yeah,
wasn't the sound of the Univibe. The sound of the Univibe is so difficult to get it.
I know. I know. I've played a bunch of them, man, and like I might be weirder than other people how I want to hear them, but maybe not. I mean, I like it when it's extra chewy.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be palpable when I step on that. I want it to be like you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like super chewy.
Well,
Um,
that's when you're making a Univibe replica, you're going to find a lot of mysterious sound there, because from one side, if you don't have the good components, you will hear the Univibe as a phaser and not as a Univibe.
mhm.
Some other, you are going to hear only a vibrato, not that chewiness. um, some other times you have a lot of double pulls, but a little chewy sound. It's you have to get the good components, mess around, test this, test that, and to see what you get. Okay,
Mhm.
so you're going to find a lot of Univibes replica over there, but and all of them sounds different.
Yeah. No,
Well, I
vastly too.
yes, for example, I have six Funky Vibes editions. I have the 68, the 69, Fillmorist, Woodstock, Maui, and I used to make the Mastermind. That was a mix of three kind of Univibes. Okay, when I make it and I play it alone, they sound very very near. For example, the 68 and the 69 sounds very near. Sorry, I know how to explain it.
No, it's
Uh,
close in tone. Like
close, yes, close in
they're
tone.
mhm.
But when you place it one here, one there, and you place A or B, you say, "Oh, here's the difference." You know,
Mhm.
the same for the Woodstock, the same for the Fillmorist edition.
Yeah.
All of them are close, but not too much.
Well,
Okay.
I'll say, I mean, my first exposure was through our mutual friend Buddy Blues to see
Yeah,
like your stuff, and like
it's
everybody
your
needs.
friend. It's not my friend. Ah, I love
Well,
you, buddy. You know.
I love that guy. So and let me just pop this up here real quick because I want people to be able to, if you want to like open up a second window and start to go check
Yes.
out
Let
check
me
out
see. It's the
Nico's
first
stuff.
time I make here, so let me check.
So yeah, BV's in here moderating. Thank you as always, BV.
Yeah, thank you,
But
baby.
But what I find really cool lately, so, like, I don't know, it was probably a year or 2 ago, the first time I saw one of your products pop up from Buddy, and, and everyone needs to know, so it's not just Univibes that, Sabbadius makes amazing stuff, there's other overdrive pedals and other things you should check out, but what I find really cool now, so somebody that I've idolized my whole life, Charlie Hunter, when I see him and I'm playing something like that, I'm like, all right, so like Nico has gotten in the door now. So it's like,
Yeah,
and I know there's so many people playing them, like other friends, like, RJ and all those people. So I know what you're doing is fantastic. And I know also that you obviously care about quality control. You care about the product that's going to show up on someone's doorstep. You want it to deliver, you want it to sound great. You want it to hit them how it hits you when you first developed it,
Yeah.
Um, but what I think is so cool is like it's becoming more and more now readily kind of visible via the internet that what you're doing with Univibes is transcending what other people are doing.
Well,
Um,
thank
and
you. Thank you very
yeah,
much.
yeah, because it seems to me like all the iterations, all the different models that you're doing with the Univibes are historically accurate things that you're trying to chase that dragon, from what I can tell. I'm curious, how much research, like how is this happening? Like how are you focusing your energy and figuring out how to make these different iterations of these pedals? Like is it like research in terms of like what Jimmy was using at that time and what were the components in there? Is it you're using your ear a lot more because you can't get that information? Like what's happening?
Well, I use most of the time my ear. I compare it with the albums, songs. That's why my pedals, for example, the Funky Vibes has that surname, or the edition name, because when I was searching for the correct Univibe replica, I was trying to put here, or the bias here, or the offset of the lamp bulb here, um, changing a few components. I realized that, um, this is the sound of, for example, Isabella at Woodstock of Jimmy. So let's do it this way, and I'm going to have the Isabella sound of. So I tested, and I say, oh yeah, this is the sound of Isabella. You know, um, it's a long way to get into that product, because for you to know, as I was mentioning recently, that I first time make the Funky Vibe in 2007. Um, I didn't get that sound of the Univibe that today you can hear in my Funky Vibes
Mm-hmm.
until 2019. So
Okay.
I spent all those years testing components, like I said, buying all the lamps bulbs I can find in internet, in the States, in Japan, in China, all places. So I found, a Japanese made lamp bulb that was made on 1970. So I said, okay, I want to buy a box that's are 100 of them. I tested it, and I said, this is the lamp. How many you have? 4,000. Okay, I want to buy them all.
Nice.
So, and I did it. I bought them
Nice. That's
all of
awesome.
them. Then, then 2 years ago, he sent me an email and said, hey, Nico, I found 2,000 more. You want it? Bring it. Yeah.
That's so great, dude. I mean, hey, if you find something that works that well, and I mean, because they're limited. This stuff is not
Yes.
available like all the time. I remember talking to I was in Nashville
Yeah.
and I went by Zach Broyles, like the Mythos headquarters, Mythos pedals,
Yeah.
and he was showing me he had a gigantic box of the Klon knobs. And he's like, I had to buy all these because this company's going out of business. And I was like,
Yeah.
give me all of them because I don't know if I'll be able to source
Yeah.
them
We
at
are
some point.
crazy. We do that.
Yeah, I
We are
know.
crazy people.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not crazy when it's like your business and you got to keep your business afloat. I mean, 6,000 Univibes need to be out in the world. You got to make them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Let me ask you this. How weird is the enclosure? Like, it's such a different type of enclosure. That's gotta be
Well,
expensive, you know?
yes, it was developed without any sample, because all is made by photos that I took from the web, and I show it to the designer. I said, hey, we need to make this enclosure in the cheapest way possible, and I want to make it smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So we made the first one. We made the first 50 units we made were made of steel. Now, after that, we are making it in aluminum.
Okay.
So the rest. It's a nice, and it's built like a tank. You can step on it and nothing's going to happen. But and it's how you say when it's
Heavy or light?
light. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
very light. So it's very pedal friendly too for that.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
and was not easy to make it because it has a lot of holes and blends and parts.
Yeah, man, it's a labor of love, though, right?
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
it seems so complicated. Like, I don't know what the most complicated circuit is out there. I would imagine, like you said, the fuzz circuit is probably the most simplistic circuit.
It's simple in the components quantities,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not simple to make a fuzz sounds good.
Yeah.
You know, you need to have the correct transistors. That is the heart of the pedal.
Mhm.
Um, you need to try them all.
Yeah. Do you prefer working with silicon or germanium transistors, like when you're doing fuzz?
Silicon,
Yeah. Okay.
silicon.
Yeah.
It's cheaper, is more stable,
Mm-hmm.
much more stable, and you are not going to buy one. Most of the time when I bought some germanium transistors, they're failed. Or, from example, from 10 that I bought, maybe I can say one.
Wow.
So I prefer
Man.
always to use silicon.
So, and if you're using silicon, like, if you have 10, do like 9 of them work, or do all 10 work?
So
Like, what's
all the 10 works. Yeah.
dang, man, I can see now. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for a lot of pedal builders why you would want to opt to do that. So,
Yeah, when you buy, I used to buy in bulk transistors, so I never buy except for the limited edition pedals. I used to buy, for example, 1,000 of transistors. Um, in the silicon material, uh, maybe sometimes you get really high gain. You know,
mm-hmm.
in some, for example, those that are really high in gain, I don't use it because it makes the fuzz sounds good, but when you put the fuzz knob at max, you will hear a feedback,
Yeah, there's like a hiss.
yes, a hiss. That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Mm-hmm.
the word, a
Yeah.
hiss. So I don't use those high gain transistors.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
well,
mean, I love my favorite thing about fuzz is the availability of cleanup.
yeah.
Um, when I was going to school in Boston, my rig was I had a twin reverb, a silver face twin reverb. It was like 1971 twin reverb, and I took 2 power tubes out, so I was running at half the wattage. And all I would go to a gig with was my Strat and a Dunlop fuzz face. And I would leave the fuzz face on all night, and I would just control my volume for different tones.
Whoa.
And it worked really well. And like that pedal was like it was a newer like Dunlop fuzz face. It was a big enclosure. It wasn't the little guy. It was the bigger one,
Yeah.
the big smile face. But like I found that was like, this is all I kind of need, you know, like when I want to be doing heavier stuff, I can roll it up, because I would just crank the fuzz all the way, and then just
Yeah.
it cleaned up so well. And that pedal was not expensive either. I think I bought it at the Guitar Center across from campus for like $170 or something crazy like that.
Wow. Yeah.
I sold it, but I mean, I have like 19 fuzz pedals now, so it's like it's like I'm a little bit of fuzz
Yeah.
junkie. But yeah, it's crazy how much you can do with that, and if you're using like silicon transistors and stuff, and things are more stable, especially for outdoor gigs and things like that. There's
You
not
know, the lights of the lights. Um, I
on
don't
the
know how to
stage, like the
on
stage
stage.
lighting.
Yes, can change the sound of the fuzz if it's germanium too.
That's crazy.
Yes,
That's
they
crazy.
emit. They're hot, so they hit the transistor inside the pedal, and you are when you turn it on, you don't know how it's going to sound.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better if you use silicon. You're not you will know that you're always um you always are going to have a good sound. Sorry, my English. Sorry.
No, you're fine, man. Let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on all this stuff? Like, is there a compromise, do you think, when, companies put out fuzz pedals that have like the temperature control biasing and stuff? Do you feel like there's a compromise with that, or do you think we've come far enough technology-wise that is possible to like regulate like the temperature stuff?
Well, yes. Well, Kingtone make a fuzz that you can control the bias outside the enclosure, and it's always you will always get that perfect sound of that transistors. I don't know what he's doing, but from in my opinion, it sounds great always.
Mm-hmm.
And he used germanium transistors, and if it's cold or hot, they are going to sound exactly the same always.
Man.
And for me, well, yeah, no, nothing.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's just it's interesting because I feel like we're living in the age as guitar players, we're living in like the platinum gear age. Like there's just so many options and like
yeah,
technology, even like modeling. Like I can remember in 2011 or 2012 trying to use Amplitude, and I was like the software, and I was like, wow, this actually sounds really good.
yeah,
For like, from 2012, man, it has come so far. So I'm like, how is that technology gonna inspire people who are working with like, analog materials? Like what can we do now, like, to make this gear more accessible or to make it more reliable? And like stuff like you're talking about with biasing of fuzzes, or like even with like a Univibe. I mean, like I feel like there's, depending where it is in the chain, like where do you like to put like the
yeah.
Univibe in your chain? Like first?
Hmm.
Is that where you like it?
Well, I use the when I use the Fender Super Reverb I
Mm-hmm.
have there over there.
I see. Yeah.
When I use I like much better the funky vibe first, then the fuzz pedals. Okay. In when I use the Marshall, I prefer the funky vibe at last.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like Jimmy used it. If you place the funky vibe at the beginning, from the guitar to the funky vibe, then to the wah wah, then to the fuzz, then to the amp,
Mm-hmm.
you will hear always more throb and less swash. That swash swoosh swoosh.
Yeah.
If you place it in the Super River, first the wah wah, then the fuzz, then the funky vibe, then the Fender Super River, you will hear throb with a little of chewiness,
Mm-hmm.
and all depends where you place the intensity knob to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you think that why is that between like the Fender and the Marshall? Is it like the EQ curve of the amp itself, you
Well,
think?
the Fender is a clean amp, and the Marshall is really, really,
Dirty.
uh, yeah, dirty. It's a plexi, so
Oh,
you,
okay,
you,
okay.
that is why I have this, because I can't use the Marshall. This is a room. This room has 3 meters per 2.5. It's a tiny. It's very tiny. The
Yeah,
space
yeah, yeah.
here.
No, you gotta save your hearing, man. Come on now. It's like you gotta use an attenuator.
Yeah.
That's so funny, man. Um, all right, so let me ask you. All right, so you started so really, would you say like the start of your career with this stuff really kind of took off in 2019 when you feel like you had that recipe right with the Univibe?
Well, yes. With the Univibe, yes. I started making pedals in 2001.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
started making it for my friends, for me, and from some other guys that said, "Hey, Nico, I want that fast that a friend of mine has. Can you make one for me?" Sure. And I realized that I started making pedals professional at 2004.
Okay.
So, well,
Okay. So
uh,
it's been you're kind of in the earlier parts of like the boutique market then.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
did
yeah,
not know that. See, this is why I
yeah.
like doing these things because I don't know some of this stuff. Um, all right. So then at that time, that's coming off the heels of like learning how to make a tube screamer and learning how to make a fuzz. That kind of stuff is when you were like, okay, I'm gonna start doing this now that I've been building several for friends, for myself. I feel confident in the product. Like that's
Yeah.
where you were. Okay. Okay.
And here in Argentina is it is during now it's very difficult to find the right components, the enclosures, the switch, the foot switch, all that. So when I started, I used a temporary switch that was not so good, so it breaks all the time. So I have
Mm,
to change it, and the same for the transistors, the capacitors and resistors. All those pieces of components that we have here in Argentina were not the best. Was not the
mm,
best. So we started receiving good stuff maybe in 2015.
okay. So
Um,
it's like a chef, like you got to get the recipe going, and
yeah,
all the pieces have to work, all the like ingredients have to work.
yeah.
I mean, are you feeling like right now, like as far as the line of pedals that you're making and everything, do you feel like you've hit the stride where you're like, okay, I've got the recipe locked in now?
Well, I'm going to still making the pedals that I make today. I don't know if I'm going to make some other pedals. My knowledge is like limited.
Hmm.
You know, all you have today are digital, so analog devices are uh, very difficult to make it. Um, we have some troubles to import stuff, components right now, so we are limited in making more pedals as new product.
Right.
Um, well,
Well, let me ask you this. So, as a fan of music, which you
yeah.
are, and as a fan of gear, obviously you bought a bunch of pedals and you didn't have an amp, which I find awesome. Um, do you feel like is there anything that are you like your prize? Like what are your favorite pedals that you own that are not ones you built? Like do you have an old like vintage fuzz face? Like what is
No, I don't
okay.
have it. No, I don't have it. But a pill that I would like to make and that I'm not making it will be a great envelope filter
Ooh.
for that funk stuff.
Yeah, man.
But maybe,
So here, okay, you struck a chord with me. Here's my complaint with envelope filters.
Tell me.
Um, I am a huge jam band nerd. I love the Grateful Dead, and I love Jerry Garcia's envelope filter tone stuff that he did. And it's so damn hard to nail that. It is so hard to find an envelope filter that will do that thing and not make you cross your eyes to figure out how to twist the knobs to get it there. Because
They are
I
very sensitive on the how you um how you
like how heavy I play.
yes, they are
I'm
very sensitive. So
Yeah, I'm very dynamic with how I hit the strings. I'm very dynamic because I push. I feel like I really utilize this amp behind me to do most of the heavy lifting. Um, and I've learned as a mature musician now how much you can rely on the guitar being your motherboard, and the amp is kind of like your reaction, to that motherboard.
yeah,
But every envelope filter I've had, and I've had a ton, I
the
feel like
Mutron,
I've never had a Mutron, and which I
right,
know that's what
right,
Jerry had. Yeah.
yeah.
And some of them
That's
are
the envelope filter
yeah, I
for me.
know. And I think if you're gonna end up making something like that, like, if you can nail that tone, that is something that everybody wants to get. Because sometimes they can, like, envelope filters can quack, right?
Yeah,
They can do the quacky thing, but there's no ass behind it. There's not like enough low end with it. It feels like it's all top end. Like the low pass is on or something. It's just all quack, quack, quack up
yeah,
top.
yes,
And Jerry's was very vocal and very guttural,
cool.
which I thought is like the holy grail of envelope filter sounds. Um, but if you're doing something funky, if you're doing like just funky playing and you want to do something like Jamiroquai with like, a funk, that does it great. But if you
Yeah,
want the Jerry Garcia thing, I think is that like guttural, deep but quacky thing, which is hard to. I have not found it, and I like I said, I haven't played a Mutron, so I don't know. But I haven't found one that I've resonated with so far.
well, the new one doesn't sound exactly the same as the old ones.
Mhm, mhm.
So if you find an old one, try it
Probably
because
probably
it's going
nails
to
it.
blow your mind.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Because it's a cool effect, and I feel like it's not something you can use all night. Let's be honest. It's like a maybe 2 times a night you can turn it on, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
maybe. I'm a
but
funk guy. I am a funk. I love funk. I
me
like
too, man.
I like much more funk than blues, for example.
Mhm.
So maybe I if I have to take out an album, maybe with 12 songs, maybe 11 has that envelope filter, I guess.
Okay.
I love it. I love it, man.
Yeah,
But
no,
I never get that some components that I need to make it to sound like that.
right, right. All right, so let's talk a little bit about funk because I'm a big fan too. I mean, that's like what I studied when I was at Berkeley too. Um, so obviously I'm a big Tower of Power fan. Like what are your main seminal records? Like what are the records that you're like, oh man, if I had to go on a desert island, like these are the 3 funk records I would take with me.
Funk? Oh
Yeah.
man, I don't know. From Jamiroquai, all of them.
Mhm.
Funkadelic,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
and a band that is from Argentina that is called Ilya Kuriaki and the Valderramas. That's the name of that band.
Is it a big band? They have horns and everything too?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was a big band. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there a pretty vibrant scene there?
Sorry.
Is there a pretty, like, vibrant music scene in Argentina? Like, it's like
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. We
Yeah, I
have
mean
a concert here that is called Cosquín Rock. It's one of the biggest Latin America concerts.
okay.
So people like I don't know 50,000 people. come to see the show.
Dang, yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, 2 days, 2 days of rock and roll, man.
Oh man. So I know that like one of my favorite bands is Pearl Jam. I know they come out that way a lot. Like Latin
I love it
American.
too. I love
Yeah.
it. And Stone Temple Pilots too.
Heck yeah, man. I'm a child of the 90s. I know what's up. Um, dude, I feel like that we're gonna run out of time. I have so many things else I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you. So tell me, like, I know that the process, I know like building pedals, I've watched my friends do it, and I know that it's so hard and like to like day in, day out, like the monotony of doing it. But what's your favorite part about doing what you do?
To get the people buy something that I make. That give me a lot, you know.
Hmm.
Sometimes when someone said, "Hey Nico, can you sign the pedal for me?" It's my sign, my signature. What do you want it? Because man, you are the man that made the funky buy or the whoa. That fills me a lot, you know. That is why I make what I make today, you know. So for me to say that is the best
Yeah.
I like most.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that's why I like doing this show, and why I like having builders on, because I feel like you guys maybe don't enough get the appreciation, like hear the feedback all the time from the players. And it's fundamentally part of enjoying the instrument, playing the instrument, is hearing a sound that inspires you. So people ask me all that time about like, well, don't stop buying pedals and start playing. I'm like, dude, whatever keeps the guitar in your hand and keeps you playing, that's all that matters. You know? Like if you get a funky vibe and it's like so inspiring that you sit and you lose track of time for 2 hours
Wow.
because you're enjoying yourself, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty awesome. That's like keeping that passion and that instrument in your hands. And I think that's the thing that the effect you guys have. I'll use effects in quotes because we'll say that pun is intended. But
Yeah.
but I think that's like fundamentally part of the reason that we play the instrument is to have fun, right? And enjoy ourselves and bring some sort of joy into our lives. So yeah, if you want to be a burning player and you want to be on stage in front of 100,000 people, get in the woodshed and start working, man. But if you're playing after work and you get home and you put your feet up and you have your guitar in your hands and that's what brings you joy, that's good enough for me, man. You know?
You're right.
And
Yeah.
I think that's what you guys give to players, is like that opportunity to enjoy their life even more, you know? So that's pretty heavy. But
Thank you.
yeah, man. So then what's going on from here? We talked a little bit about the envelope filter, but like what's the trajectory for Sabbadius right now? Like what is the next 5 years gonna take? They're gonna,
Well,
materialize.
I really don't know. I really don't know. I live in Argentina. You know, you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
So I don't know really.
Are you kind of in the mindset of like if you're still happy, you're still healthy, you're still doing it, are you in the mindset of wanting to expand and like get into other things maybe that you haven't done before?
Well, I would like to expand the company. Um, Today I am the only one that makes the bells. I have a friend that is called Geronimo. He's helping me in assembly the pedals, so I can make the circuit, the test, and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm building my house. So when I finish my house, I I want to start making projects to make this company bigger. You know,
Yeah,
add
man.
some more people to work with me so I can have the stuff ready to go faster and all that. But the important parts when I making the pills they always have to get in me so I can test it first until send it to the customer. You know.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's my go-to. I think make
Okay.
this company bigger.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing that I think everybody needs to know is like when you're buying these pedals, it's like this man's hands are in there, like making every single one of
Yeah.
them. So that's, I mean, it's hard too because how long is the wait right now for a funky vibe? Like what's the wait time?
The waiting time it goes between 20 to 40 days.
Okay.
But sometimes I have it ready in 7 days. Um, I have a large list of waiting that of people that is waiting for the funky vibe right now.
Mhm.
Also for the tiny vibes too.
Right. Yeah, those are cool, man. When I saw that you were doing those, like that is like, well, first of all, I mean, you shrunk it down even just a little bit more.
It's the same. It's the same PCB circuit components, all the same, but in smaller enclosure because I don't use the transformer. I don't use the foot control jack. I don't use the fuse or the. Let me show you.
Yeah, I saw you have the expression pedal now. That's pretty awesome.
Yes, yes, expression pedal. That was really hard to make it. This piece.
Yeah.
And the foot control was an year of development.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, that
No,
is
yeah.
that dude, there's there's so much involved. I feel like that's what blows my mind every time I hear about how people develop and make these things because it's like there could be at every like junction there could be a wrong turn that just screws everything up. So it's like you have to like be very meticulous about how you're putting these things together and how you guys develop these ideas and like adding another component in like an expression pedal and like, oh crap, now we need to make sure that that works because these components need to be touching and this stuff has for that in order to like, control the parameter. It's
Yeah.
just there's so many moving parts, like not literally, but there's so many plates in the air when you guys are making this,
Yeah.
especially Univibes. It's crazy.
It's
Somebody's
great.
asking about, they want me to ask you about the Jimmy Fuzz.
Oh, okay. Ha. How are you, Dad?
Mhm.
Well, dude, Crash. Um, Let me show you something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is the first time you're going to see this pedal. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Body Blues and RJ Ronquillo is going to make the video and it's going to be ready next Tuesday.
Oh, tight. Okay.
Okay. I want to introduce the Jimmy Fuzz. Is this one?
Oh.
It's huge.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Tell me a little bit more about, so why is it so big?
Well, this enclosure was made when I was making the foot control. The expression pedal is the part of the expression pedal that is here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is this part,
Oh, yeah, nice, dude.
And I said, "Oh man, I like it. Maybe I can make fuzz pedals here. So let's try it." And well, this is the Jimmy Fuzz. It's going to be introduced by RJ Ronquillo and Body Blues next Tuesday.
Heck yeah, man. I can't wait to hear it. That's cool too, because it's kind of like you're recycling like the parts that you already have for another, so it's, it's a little earth conscious. You're not gonna, skimp out on using the extra parts that you might have. That's cool, man. Is that gonna be, well, we don't have to actually, let's not talk about it. Let's let
It's not
everybody.
a fast face. It's not a fast face.
Okay.
It's inspired in the fast that was used by Jimmy at Woodstock.
Okay.
That was in the same fast face enclosure, but inside the circuit was an Axis fuzz, the one that Roger Mayer makes, and is near that sound.
Okay. What's your favorite like version of fuzz? Do you like fuzz faces or do you like zonk machines? Do you like tone benders? Like where do you lay in that?
I like fuzz faces.
Okay.
I used to have a song replica, and I couldn't use it in the Marshall. It's really nasty fuzz.
Yeah.
So it always was under far away to control that amount of fuzz. The fuzz phase, two knobs, simple, and when you lower the volume of your guitar, you clean the signal easily.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I prefer the fuzz phase.
Yeah. And the Zonk machine too, man. It's like I love Doyle Bramhall, but I feel like I can never make it sound like Doyle. How Doyle makes it sound, you know? It's just
Yeah.
not. I don't know what magic he's got. You know, I know it's in his hands, but like I don't know what he's got going on and what versions of those he has. But like he always makes a Zonk machine sound like $1,000,000. So it's him. It's not
It's
me.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's him.
So, but I would agree with you. I feel like and for anyone like that's watching this, if you are not hip to fuzz, because I know a lot of people are scared because they're like, how do I even use this in the context of a band? Sometimes it's hard to have a fuzz that like cuts on the bandstand. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And I think if you are new to fuzz, a fuzz face is the best way to start. It's the best foray into learning how to use fuzz.
Hmm.
Just because it's very malleable in terms of crafting by using your volume tone. You can shape that so much
Well,
easier.
that's why I made the fuzz phase with the wah trick. Is a knob that control the impedance of the guitar that you get into the pedal,
Mm.
so you can clean the extreme fuzz. When you have too much fuzz and you want to clean a little bit, you move that wah trick and you solve it. The wah trick is made because also to make your wah sound friendly with the fuzz. That is
Ah,
why it's called wah trick.
okay. All right.
Um, so you turn the the wah trick knob with the wah on. You are going to hear a wee.
Yeah, I know what you're
You know?
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, with that knob, you can disappear that ugly sound. You
Oh,
know?
that's so smart.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's cool. Ah, so yeah, everybody, obviously Nico makes a ton of great stuff. So go to here. Let's put up the website again so people, and then we can do the lightning round get down. But so check out all Sabbadius products because they're all amazing and like it's super attention to detail. Everything that I've heard my friend Buddy Blues do sounds awesome. All the effects sound great. And when you test this stuff, do you sometimes test with your 335 so you can hear like humbuckers with it? And like, do you do that or is it just Strat?
No, just a Strat,
Oh,
just the
okay.
guitar, the Strat. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's
Maybe sometimes when I uh, launch a new pedal like this fast, yes, I used to use it with a humbucker to see how it sounds with it. But most of the time, I use Strat.
okay. You're through and through, man. You're a Strat guy. I can
Yeah.
tell. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, Nico, let's do the lightning round get down
Okay.
and let's see how you fare. What I'm going to do, my friend, is I'm going to put on a metronome for some suspense because why not?
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you basically 10 questions. It's a this or that type situation. You can, if you want, you can explain your answers. You do not have to explain your answers. You can just burn right through these. The
Okay.
first one is always the same. Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney.
Overdrive or fuzz?
Fast.
Super reverb or twin reverb?
Super Reverb.
Vox or Crybaby Wah?
Box.
Beer or wine?
Whoa, that's difficult. Wine.
All right. For tremolo, do you prefer like bias tremolo or harmonic tremolo?
Uh, I don't know.
No preference there.
No.
I love harmonic tremolo. I like the swampiness, the regular swampy Fender tremolo, but I love that kind of chewy tremolo too.
Yeah.
Um, Silver Sky, PRS Silver Sky, or American Standard Strat.
American Standard Strat.
All right, if a genie could grant you one of these two things, would you take perfect pitch or speed and precision?
Perfect speech.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that. All right. All right, here's one. The Experience or Band of Gypsies?
Well, one of these gypsies.
Oh, okay. Tell
Yes.
me why, because I'm always curious.
Well, because was be, because was the band that Jimmy wanted to have all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When he makes Are You Experience, wasn't him doing the band.
Okay. That's
The
fair.
manager said, "Well, I have this guy playing drums, I have this guy playing guitar, but he is going to play the bass guitar."
Yeah.
So, Noel Redding and Mitch
Mitch
Mitchell.
Mitchell, yeah.
So they are going to be your musicians. In when Jimmy met the Billy Cox and all the band of gypsies at Woodstock, I said, man, I can see Jimmy enjoying playing now.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
man.
know, he was enjoying playing with them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he didn't enjoy play with Mitch Mitchell and Noel Redding, but you know,
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting too is like when you go back and you listen to like the Experience records like that, like Are You Experience is such a it's just banger after banger song wise. It's like even like that era, there's like so many good songs. It's
yeah,
just mind blowing.
yeah.
It's like how, and then when you
In
go
Electric
in,
Ladyland album
yeah,
blows your mind. You know
mm-hmm, yeah, totally. But
that
then when you get
song.
to the Band of Gypsies and it's so greasy and so funky and it's just like I know what you mean, like the jubilance, like it came out of him, in that moment. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying. All
yes,
right,
yes.
Nico, here's the last one. Sometimes this is the hardest, sometimes this is the easiest.
Okay,
If
I'm
you
scared, man. I'm scared.
if you can take one album, it doesn't have to be your favorite album of all time, but if you could take one album and erase it from your memory so you can go back and experience it for the first time again, what record would that be?
Can be a live show, for example.
Of
Not
course.
yes, Jimi Hendrix at Maui,
Okay. All right. Tell me why.
because for the same as I was telling you recently,
Okay.
if you see him there playing guitar, he's enjoying it a lot, and the sound that he created in that concert is mind blowing. For
Mm-hmm.
me, that sound is the sound of Jimmy.
Okay.
Is You have all the best songs there too, in my opinion. Okay,
Okay. Okay. That's fair. What was his rig that day? Do you know?
the rig.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it was the Strat, the Flying B, two Strats, the black one, the white one, Flying B. Then go to the Wawa. Some people said that from the Wawa he goes to the Univibe, then to the Fuzz, then to the Amp.
Okay.
Some others said that he goes to the Wawa, then to the Fuzz, then to the Univibe, then to the Amp.
Okay. Is there no documentation as far as pictures or anything really?
Now, back in the days, I think nobody takes some photos or was interesting in
Nobody
see.
cared. Yeah.
No one. At least maybe other musicians like Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, maybe them, but the people who was there listening to the music, I don't think they They no,
Yeah,
not
no.
interesting. No.
Yeah, they weren't like, "Hey guys, look at my pedal board."
Yeah.
uh,
Good.
so and was he playing through like Marshall stacks in Maui like too? Was that
Yes.
always his amp? Okay.
Yes, but again, some people say that there were plexi. Other ones said that was the
Super
bass,
lead or super bass or
super bass. Yes,
yeah.
super bass.
Okay.
Some others said that was the plexi but modded. Um
Man, that must be I've never ever stood in front of like a stacked Marshall, like 412s or 812s and like played, but
Me
I'm
neither.
sure that's a religious experience.
Yes, and that I think that there's where the sound of Jimmy comes.
Yeah,
Four stacks there in Maui. He used to have six, I think.
dude.
So
What the hell, man? I've played through a couple 412 cabinets in my life, and it's different. I mean,
it's,
I'm used to playing through 112, maybe 212s. Like this amp, I have a 2 rock with a
yeah,
212 cabinet, and I love that amp. Like that, I finally understand it. It took me a year to really
well,
like the symbiotic relationship between how that amp should be working and running.
yeah,
And now that I found it, I'm just like, I don't think I can ever go to another amp. Like, I think this is like the sound that I've always heard in my head, but I could never, I was chasing it like, year after year after year. And now I'm like, oh, okay, this amp, I just leave it on the second channel. I leave it on the dirt channel.
yeah.
And it's a very slightly pushed sound.
That amp is inspiring another amp, for example, in a Marshall or in a Fender, or
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it's like a Dumble like like
Dumble.
steroid Fender
Okay,
is really what it is.
okay,
Um, but it's like when I want to play clean, I turn the second channel off and then I have a super pristine clean tone. But I really
cool,
don't live there, man. I don't at all. Like I try to keep my tone a little bit juicy.
cool.
So that when I dig in a little bit, it breaks up even more if I want to, but it's like that amp has been a bucket list amp for me. I mean, I'm 44, man. Like I got it when I was 42 or something like that. So I mean, it took me a long time to acquire nice gear. Like I didn't always have nice gear. So I'm not a wealthy dude. I'm not running around like, oh, here you go. Let me get this
Ah,
1968
sure.
Plexi, whatever. But yeah, so it's different. Like when you finally get to play through an amp, like if you get to play through like a 412 or whatever, and you experience that for the first time, then you're like, oh, I get it now. It's a different experience. So,
Yeah, yeah.
well, Nico, anything else to share with the people? We talked a little bit about the secret coming next week, but like anything else to share with folks?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Sorry for my English. About my English is not good, but if you want, we can speak Spanish better.
I can't do that. No, you got me on that one, man. You got one up on me. Well, dude, Nico, this was like such a pleasure being able to spend some time with you and talk to you,
Was my
man.
pleasure, and thank you so very much, Mark, for this opportunity. And hopefully, we can meet in person someday.
Someday, man. Hopefully. Yeah. And I
Come to
plan on,
Argentina, or I go to United States.
yeah, let me know,
Okay,
man.
I
Like
I I
I'll have
will.
to meet up if you go anywhere near Buddy, I'll be like, I'm coming down too, man. I'm coming down to hang.
Okay,
But
it will
yeah,
be
and
great.
I'll at some point I will be getting some of your pedals. So, but thank you so
Cool.
much, man. So just hang tight, everybody else. Please go to this website, check out Sabbadius, check out all the stuff that's on there. It's amazing. BV, again, you are the man. Thank you so much for
Thank you, BB.
yeah. Thanks so much for doing this. But everybody, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we'll see you
Thank
next
you.
time.
See you, guys. Thank you.